What's up, guys? We are at Showtime Speedway, our next door neighbors, and these guys are absolutely awesome for opening up their doors to us. This is pretty much like a private little test and tube here, and we're trying to do this because of that. As you can see over there, it rained about 2 miles away just about 20 minutes ago, and it's still raining a little farther away. So Florida weather, we might not be able to have an open 8th mile tonight in test and tune, so we're just putting in a good word. We're here right now. So we got a couple things that we got to test, and that is, well, how we're going to launch this, as well as tire pressure and all that. So that's what's so awesome about having the test and tune. So check this out. I'm really excited because this should help our 60 foots dramatically. So we got our clutch tamer in here. Laz installed that, and this should be able to help us really be able to cut down our 60 foots and get that dialed in. However, it might get worse before it gets better because, well, we're dialing it in. That's why we're here. So let's make some really good progress and get this thing rolling. Yeah, we also have
not these clouds.
Not only that rain, but
those clouds.
And those look like that's coming this way, so we might only have maybe 20 minutes, but we're gonna give it a shot.
No, well, I was gonna launch in front of it a little bit just because the rubber's a little bit more adhered down there, and there's.
Put me where you want me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just roll up a little bit further.
Okay. Man, that rain is coming.
Old Frank, about to make a little test here.
I mean, even the burnout, the way it left, it felt good, man. That was honestly like not any harder.
What's been in this front?
The front, yeah, this side stuff's good. You guys might want to get this thing back to the shop.
Or just go ahead and push it over there.
I'm doing great, Georgie.
It's a real. And it's starting to rain.
Yeah, we're starting to rain right now, man. Gosh, dude. Hey, we're gonna keep on trucking, man.
Keep on trucking. Every time you get knocked down, you get back up again. Ain't that right, man?
That's one thing solved. Still got plenty more to work on.
Well, I don't know about.
Well, thank God we're only 2 blocks away, man. So we're doing the Tove Shane. Man, I really hope we didn't break that output shaft. It definitely sounds like it possibly did. All right, lads. What we thought. Record amount of time there. A transfer case down in, what did you say, 6 minutes, man?
It's like 6.5 minutes.
That's crazy, dude.
Quick connect. So.
And we got a broken main shaft again.
Well, so the last time the drag strip, when I had the overheating issue, the clutch was still not grabbing full because we had that new clutch saver in there, or that clutch launch tool.
Yeah.
So we tightened it up so you'd get full grabbing of the clutch, and then we're gonna back off of it. I think it grabbed a little too hard.
And honestly, I didn't try and just feed it all. I kind of went like that. I was trying to slip it a little bit because I figured, hey, you know, I mean, even with that thing, even if I would have like dumped it like that, it's only gonna be harder. But the point was, is I wanted to, you know, crawl before I could walk and walk before I could run. So that's why we're trying to do what we're doing here now. But you know,
I think the guys at RPM said they're working on something that might help us.
All right. Well, hopefully.
It's time to make a phone call.
Yeah. All right, guys, we had to take a break right there, and I wanted to take a moment and share with you something that is incredibly important. Now, that is private internet access, which is a VPN. That is a virtual private network. And they are helping out our channel tremendously, which helps us bring you guys better content. So please take a moment and check this out. In the last couple of months, we've been spending more and more time, say, at home and more time online. And that can lead to us becoming prey. In fact, recently our email was hacked. And so thus, we have started to use a VPN, private internet access. Private internet access is the leading no-log VPN service with over 30 million downloads. VPNs allow you to encrypt your connection so that you keep anything you do online confidential and secure. But if you're working at home, your connection is encrypted so you can't be tracked. Private internet access has been ranked spectacular by CNET and Editor's Choice by PC Mag and Tom's Guide in 2020. Now, I use a VPN to protect digital transactions for my financial life. Now, this is a major defense against data and identity theft. Your internet service provider, the government, or hackers will no longer have access to your data. You can have a simultaneous connection up to 10 different devices. It is equipped with an automatic kill switch disconnecting your device until the VPN is restored. You have unlimited access to over 3,300 servers in over 48 countries, and dedicated apps for all platforms including Mac, iOS, Android, even Amazon Fire Stick. When you log in with private internet access, you are logging in with a different IP address. So thus, you're blocking ads, malware, trackers. Pretty awesome. It's almost like getting disconnected from the matrix. If you have a streaming service such as Amazon Prime, Netflix, or Hulu, say for example you want to watch something that is not in your country, you can now do that. Private internet access allows you to bypass any sort of geo restrictions. Have you guys ever seen this before? And if you guys use our custom link in the description below, you get it for $2.59 a month. That's 77% off plus 3 additional free months. That is a pretty awesome deal for some pretty awesome security. So guys, check out that link in the description below. Start getting yourself protected today. Now, let's get back to the video. And this thing is a monster, and we're not gonna have some little part like that holding us back. We gotta have to upgrade. And George, what do? We adapt and overcome, buddy.
Adapt and overcome. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I was gonna say, dude.
All right, guys, so we kind of wanted to break down a few things as to why we have a problem with this here. So, you were telling me just a little while ago how similarly you have an issue with Leroy.
Yeah, ours just breaks on the other end because that's where all our oblong shaft stuff is. Or you got, you know, a transfer case and dry shafts off the back. Vice versa for us, we got a torque tube and everything off the front.
Yeah.
They can only make these main shafts so strong using, you know, stock parts that.
And one of the things we were talking about is that we have the spacer right there, and basically that shaft is so long and you're having so much twisting force. And
yeah, and you can see where you look at it where it's actually doing the twist before it snaps.
Certainly.
See how all the splines are rolled over.
Yeah. I mean, if the splines ended right here and we were directly into that, that would be different than you know, having that long,
having,
I want to say
all
torque
this
arm, but
space. I mean, it's just causing it to get the wiggle motion.
Maybe that's hardened too much and got that brittle point to it.
This one's not hardened because of the way it twisted.
Well, see, I've had axles twist and they stayed just twisted.
That's what I'm saying, but like, see how this one twisted? Usually if the shaft gets too hardened, what it'll do is it'll be a clean break. You won't see the twist at all.
Now, we had just talked to RPM, and Steven from LOJ made the adapter for the transfer case from the tail shaft. So basically, we talked to RPM, and they said that, hey, there might be a 32 spline that is supposed to be larger, stronger, etc. And then Steven said, hey, we can reduce that. He just doesn't know how much shorter it's going to be. Nobody knows that yet.
What RPM was saying is their 32 spline is going to come out short like a Turbo 400. And if that's the case, we're going to be sliding on 1500 transfer case, like an Escalade or something too, and there'll be a real small adapter between the two.
And of course, we'd have to redo redo our drive shafts. We'd have to run the different transfer case, obviously, like you just mentioned.
We're already really tight on that floorboard cross number. So probably have to rework some of the floorboard.
Yeah.
And a seat.
It's a whole.
You can go to you see how this thing necks down right here?
Yeah.
If you can go to where it's this size and short, it might fix your issue you're having.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because they designed that setup he's talking about to run a 9-inch on the back of the floorboard trans.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing too is that this is not an easily accessible part. The main shaft for this C6 and C5 is now becoming incredibly difficult to find.
Yeah, they're really hard to find. It took us almost a month to find them.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Somebody
that.
had to dismantle their stuff to give you
Somebody
theirs.
had to go into their secret stash for the project and send us their shaft.
All right, well, if anybody has any sort of information on that, I mean, that could be helpful. Perhaps if somebody knows that where there is a main shaft or a trans that is, well.
The other option is a spud shaft to go 32 spline female to 27 spline male, but you're still dropping to the diameter of a 27 spline.
Some major growing pains, but I think we're eventually going to get it, though.
Yeah. You find, I mean, the good thing about it though is you don't know what you're like. This has been your weakest link. This is your second
for
one
sure.
you've broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, like everything else is holding up. You know the front end is strong because if that was weak, that would break. You know, your rear end's holding up because you're not breaking axles or anything back there. It's
You're
just
stronger than this piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we just need that. That's like our fusible link, unfortunately. It hasn't really taken that much yet. It's a.
I mean, you did some pretty gnarly all-wheel drive burnouts and stuff. Worst case, you just start coating it in Flex Seal and then JB Weld and Flex Seal.
Well, we're gonna get to the bottom of this, and we're gonna keep re-engineering until we make it strong enough.
You ever seen how people sleeve axles?
No.
You never seen that?
No.
Where they'll like cut an axle in half.
It's in a tube sleeve.
Yeah, put a tube like sleeve over the diameter of the axle, then weld it back. I wonder if you just took a tube and put it over this. Not welded to the main shaft, but just had a tube over it.
Yeah.
It took some of the distortion out of it and saved it. All you'd have to do is get like a big body washer for right here. Something with ID of this shaft and then an OD bigger than this so it didn't beat the seal out of here.
But
And
at
then
the
just
same
like
time,
a tube like this long.
yeah, I mean, that might help with that, but at the same time, it's like that is our.
Yeah, but if this is twisting because this is flexing, then that's what's going to cause it to snap every time. If you can take some of that flex out of the next one, causing it to be like, hey, well, now we know it's not wiggling. Let's see if it still snaps.
Guys, we got something else that we are following up on that has been a little while out. So we've got the OG drift car. George, we took it for a ride the other night, and it was a little ripper.
Felt pretty good, dude. Little heads cam action, you know, small block Beamer.
Yeah, it is a small lug here. So guys, we got Vlad from Belsky Auto, and hey man, this guy, he is a pretty sharp BMW tuner here. So we're gonna go ahead and tune this thing up and see what kind of power this makes. Now this is the one that Georgie and I ported the heads on. So George, you did some absolute magic on that. I might have won the competition, but you pretty much won the war.
Expensive, yes. Anyways, it turned out pretty good.
Guys, we took this thing out, and I mean, quite honestly, everybody was like, hey, you should LS swap it. And it's not really in the budget. We got so many other projects at the moment, and I'm glad we did what we did. I got a free motor. We got to experiment doing some completely oddball stuff of what we would not normally do. And it, like I said before, George, whether it's a 1-cylinder Honda or whether it's a inline 6-cylinder BMW, it doesn't matter.
Don't matter, man.
We can make power on just about anything and optimize it. And that's what we're here to do. We want to see what this is going to do. A completely alien platform. And guys, I'm up for the challenge. George is up for the challenge. Vlad, are you up for the challenge?
You bet I am.
So guys, just to recap real quick here, it is still a stock bottom end, and we have a ported head. We have a 50/50 E85 93 mixed. We have an M50 intake manifold. We got a lightweight flywheel and we got the ZHP cam. So it's basically like going from a stock LS1 type cam to a Z06 C5 Z06 cam. So a very small upgrade, very mild, moderate stuff all the way through, but it should be a very solid gain. But for an entry-level drift car, something that George can drive, or Ben next door, or even Vlad, to be able to drive, I don't want to stick them in something that's going to be 500 wheel horsepower. This right here, if this does 260, it's going to be amazing entry-level drift car. So let's see what it does.
And when it died, how much power did it make?
It was like 220.
Yeah.
Work your magic. We got to get you working on the sprinkles, the little timing sprinkles. So guys, we're running some LS9 ZR1 injectors in this because I had some stuff lying around. Actually revs really rapidly compared to what it was. It should be night and day difference. From what George and I had last night, we were actually very excited to take this thing out and go rib it. All right, so we're getting pretty close here. I thought we were ready to rip, but we had a problem. Our mass airflow has failed, so Vlad has a hard way to work around to get this to work. So we're having to tune it in alpha N, and basically what that is just my throttle position. We should be able to tune it in alpha N and be able to make this work. Dude, it made 212 at 5,500 leaning out, and we've got a ton more to go. All right, so air fuel is lean a little bit as we go up. It got way lean here to the point where we lose a bunch of power. Gonna basically fix that and head on up. All right, fellas, we've had to do some crazy Houdini magic here in order to be able to get this thing to work. Got some major hurdles that were my fault that I had no idea, so I'm making it really hard for Vlad. But we're making some progress. So we've had to do some crazy backdoor stuff, and let's get it, let's see what we do. I think that feels better already. All right, here we go. All right, so we did pick up bottom end, but we are still just as lean is what it looks like right now. Well, this has been a little bit interesting here. We were having some problems because of the MAF and having problems with the backup fueling, and Vlad just found something and we tried it out, and we didn't even record this run, but made 249 horsepower and 235 pound-feet of torque. Now we're gonna be able to do better than that because we're working off of what we did. It's still lean. I was just like, I'm gonna stay in it and see what it is, because I did it on the street last night like an idiot, you know, doing what, if it was a customer of mine, I would say don't do that, you know. So so this has been a lot of fun because I've been able to go through the map and give my input on certain things, and we're both learning as we go. It's been awesome. Honestly, it's
yeah, we started with this alpha N injection table right here, which is throttle position versus RPM based, and we discovered that at a certain point it wasn't giving us the injector pulse width we were commanding in this map. It looks like it was actually blending these two maps here.
even though the MAF is disconnected and you would not think to use it whatsoever.
See what else we can squeeze out of it.
Yeah. Alright, this is actually a whole lot of fun. The fact that I'm able to play with a totally different software and be able to mess around with it. I did play around with this before when I was early trying to tune this thing, but I'd much rather have a professional like Vlad do it. We're finalizing the air fuel and the spark map right now. This thing's been fighting us tooth and nail, so...
Yeah, a lot of the parameters that I normally use to tune the fuel and ignition are missing since we don't have the MAF sensor, so we got an interesting challenge on our hands here. Yeah, sure. But we're making it work.
Alright, we got a misfire. I'll have to check this real quick here. Alright, we had a problem with a coil a little while back here. Let's spray on the header and see which one is working or not.
Header test will tell us.
Nah, it's cylinder 3. Alright, so we actually have some adapters on the injectors right there, and that probably was the most likely problem. So we just took that off, pinched it back together after we put the coils back on. We still had the issue, so we pinched those.
The female end of the wire goes on the spade, we tightened it up a bit. So
yeah.
tighter connection.
right, so we're good now. Let's let this thing rip. Feels good.
Yeah.
Right, 250, 236, man. Good torque. Good
Yes.
torque. Very good. Actually, I even went a little too rich on the top end there. Dude, we're looking great though on the bottom end of mid-range. Like really, really good. It's getting pretty late and Vlad has got to be up at 5 in the morning, so probably gonna have to quit here, but we've made some excellent progress. That's the best pull we've had. 250 and 236 definitely best all around.
Yeah, not bad for an NA setup.
So just had a quick little idea to see how restrictive the induction is, and we're gonna test that right now. So we're pulling this guy off completely, and we're gonna go open throttle body and see if we can see what kind of restriction this fella is right there. That was almost the goal, and look, we picked up so much more on the top end right there. And the air fuel is a little bit better. 241, 255, man, that's good numbers. This part right here, this big restriction right there was the problem, I think. You could probably even build an adapter from that to a bigger throttle body, honestly. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that go around the V8 throttle bodies.
Yeah. Well, very cool, man. That little itty bitty motor just made some very decent power. I'm pretty excited. That's very cool. Breaking the S10 really hurts my heart and the wallet. And guys, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Absolutely, you're going to find something that is going to work. Transmission's already been shipped out, and we are exploring some better options with that. Also, check out Vlad at Belsky AutoWorks. He has done an awesome job tuning this BMW. I got some interesting, nerdy tech stuff that I want to try out on the BMW, so stay tuned for that. Guys, check out the link in the description below for some of our merch. We got restocked on some of our stickers, so check that out. All of that support really greatly helps us, and we thank you guys so much for that. Seems like I'm always forgetting to put the song that I'm going to recommend at the end of the video right there, but I just came across something, and it kind of reminds me of some words that my mom used to say when I was young. If you guys are going through a rough patch, and the song says, "This too shall pass. Things won't always be this way," and God knows that that is the truth. So I hope that is an encouragement for somebody here. The song is "Lay Your Head on Me," and it's actually got the guy from Mumford & Sons singing. Check that out. It's Major Lazer, "Lay Your Head on Me." God bless you guys. We'll see you next episode. Whoa. Penelope. That was awful. Hey, you sit down. That was bad. Sit. All right, you can have it. Go. You go tease her.